Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here for the first time for the Amazing Race season 34
Wow.
is my co-host for the Amazing Race Canada, Phil. How are you today,
Hello.
Phil?
I'm doing good. It's been a little while since we've talked.
I know, long
I know.
time.
Lots of stuff going on. Eek.
So much stuff going on. But first off, I want to know, what are your thoughts about this new season? We've had a few episodes now. I'm personally really enjoying it, but I don't even know what you think.
I know. Well, I'm actually enjoying this season. I think it's a great cast. I think it's a very diverse cast. Lots of good different types of personalities. The twists, like the no elimination, non-elimination legs.
Like, yep.
Happy. Love this. Love this. Hey, let's keep this going. You can cast a couple more teams. Like, let's make it work. You can do this. That's good. And I like the mega, not the mega, like the first
Scramble?
leg where the scramble. That was wonderful as well. And I hope that we see that come back for one of the legs again. Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Awesome. Okay, so who are your favorite teams? What are your top, we'll say, three teams?
My top three teams. I think right now my top team is Emily and Molly.
Of
I like
course,
the
they're my favorite team. Of
you
course.
know, I usually cheer for the girl team anyways, but I really feel like they're strong and I'm hopeful. I think that they've got a good chance, and what a great story. The fact that they didn't know each other, they're twins that didn't know each other. Like, I mean, this is crazy story. So that's wonderful. I'm liking we haven't seen a lot from them, but I'm actually liking Aubrey and David, the ballroom dancers. Um I get vibes from Aubrey that I'm hoping that there's a little flow, Amazing Race 3 breakdown,
Oh,
psych.
you think she's gonna
Yeah,
have a breakdown?
I'm hopeful. I want it to last long enough that we see maybe a throw a helmet moment or something like that.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
and David's great eye candy. I have to say,
He's
he's
very
very
handsome.
very nice to look at. Um, and let me just quickly think. Let me see. Who else do I like? Oh, I'm actually liking them. The newlyweds, Glenda and
Lumumba.
Lumumba.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I like their relationship, and there's something about them that, like, if it was other people and they were acting some of the ways that they're acting, I probably wouldn't like them. But I don't know. There's something about them that there's energy about them that I really like.
Totally agree. They're definitely my top team. So obviously I agree with you. Big fan of Emily and Molly, big fan of Glenda and Lumumba. I'll always have a soft spot for Claire and Derek for sure. Like, I'm rooting for them just because I know them. But if I'm gonna put somebody else in that third position, I think I'm gonna go Team Croquettes. Luis and Michelle, they
Yeah.
really, like, in the beginning they weren't really featured that much, and I was like, oh, okay, they can go. I don't necessarily care what's going on. And then they started emerging a little bit more and more and more each episode. And I was like, I kind of like these two. And they've been doing a little bit of not exit press, but like going on different podcasts and talking.
Oh,
So I'm getting to know their personality a little bit more. And so I'm starting to actually really enjoy them. And so I'm rooting for them as well right now. But I also like Marcus and Michael. Like
yeah. I mean,
I
they're
kind of
doing
like
great.
everybody.
They're doing great, Marcus and Michael. Like, I mean, uh, they're a little intense, but hey, if that
That's
works for
Grace.
you, like, go for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Derek and Claire. I was excited about Derek and Claire both when they were on Big Brother, and then when Big Brother happened, I wasn't really overly impressed with them. I found them kind of boring. Sorry. And then and honestly, I kind of wish that they weren't cast because the rest of the cast is really good, and I'm just not really getting anything out of them on the race.
You're
So
just so cruel.
I know. I know. I just don't want to. Everybody says that they love them because they were on Big Brother. I'm like, yeah, but what are they doing for the race? Nothing's exciting.
I actually, well, we're gonna get into it because I feel like they had a few moments this
Yeah.
episode that I thought that they kind of shined or shone, if that's the word. Um, and like personally, like I don't think that. I mean, maybe you're looking for the breakdown moment with
The legs,
Aubrey,
yeah.
but I haven't really been getting that much from Aubrey and David personally. You know,
No,
like
no.
I think they're both lovely people. Obviously, they're both beautiful. He's eye candy. You know, I get all that, but for me, they're kind of right now one of the teams I'm like, oh, I could lose them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not
And
necessarily
that I
bringing that
understand
much.
that. I understand that because yeah, they're not really being showcased, and they're towards the bottom
Most of the time.
most legs. What about the teams that have been eliminated? Was there any that you were like, oh, that's too bad, or are you okay?
Definitely okay. Wait, okay. First team that was eliminated was that T Rex or was that team two?
That was team two. Team one was the engaged ladies. Nina.
Oh, I mean, but I didn't even get a
We didn't
chance with
get
them.
much.
I
Yeah,
don't. I mean, they seemed really nice in
yeah,
interviews, but like, I no, I'm fine. T Rex, I'm fine. Um, was next Rich and Dom or no? Was there someone else
yeah.
before
Rich
them?
and Dom.
Rich and Dom, I would have liked to see them just do more things because they were entertaining to watch and see how that they were able to get through or not get through certain tasks.
Yeah,
But I just don't know if they were strong enough to be able to make it through to more legs of the race. So I'm okay with them going because I do like seeing people excel in the race, but I wouldn't have minded seeing them attempt more things.
yeah. Definitely.
Um, but yeah,
I would have laughed if she, easily quit on another task as a motivational speaker. I would have loved
right.
that. That would have been great. But
Exactly. Exactly. And the team this week, we'll talk about it obviously.
yes,
I I was really sad for him that his race was
yes,
over, Linton, the father. But I was really frustrated with Sharik last week
yeah,
and not even really wanting to stay in the race. Like she's like, oh, I'll do it for
yeah,
you, and just kind of like, eh.
yeah,
And so I wasn't that plussed about that team at this point. And I know a lot of people have said that she's spoken out about her anxiety and that the producers did know that she was, worried about being on the race and stuff like that. And so I will give a little bit of empathy
yeah,
there, but I just wish that Linton was racing with somebody that was really able
yeah.
to take the stress of the race because it was his dream and she was coming on it, and I wish that he was able to fulfill it because I thought he was the stronger of the duo.
Yeah,
So I'm
I
sad that
agree.
they're gone, but I think he would need another partner for it to be a successful team.
Yeah, I think if you had a different partner, I'd be more sad that he's gone. I think at this point, I'm okay with them being gone because it just wasn't fun to watch her talking that way, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it got to the point where it was like, yeah, not really, not feeling you.
Yeah, it
So
just it wasn't fun to watch,
yeah.
absolutely. But we are on the Amazing Race of Arabia this episode.
Woo!
And so Phil gathers all the teams together to let them know that they're going to be going to the Kingdom of Jordan for the first time.
Amazing.
So they'll be traveling from Florence to Jordan, and they get less than 3 days of rain a year in Jordan. Like
Wow.
this is a desert. This
It
is
amazing. And like Jordan, I don't know if you know, but Survivor 4 was supposed to take place in Jordan, but then
oh
they went to Marquesa. So
with so Rob Boston Rob would have been in Jordan.
possibly, yeah, it was supposed to take place there. It was like after the 9/11 stuff had happened and all of that, so they were not sure about filming in the Middle East at that moment. But
Right.
yeah, but definitely, yeah, it was interesting to see. And I like Ron and I were talking, watching, and we're like, I wonder if they would have done this giant train thing. Like that would have been how the castaways went
Absolutely.
in
When
or
they
whatever,
have
because
like
that
that
was
they're like looking
cool.
over their shoulders at, like, you know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
can see that
like
that
total.
the shots of like hearing their voiceover on this steam train. Like
Yeah,
absolutely.
that train and the shot of everybody coming out on the horses and that was amazing.
So cool. Like I was really taken into it. I love cinema. I love, film and television. I loved Indiana Jones. I've seen Indiana
Yeah.
Jones so many times. Like all these movies that have taken place in this kind of environment, it just reminded me of them, and they were from my youth. And so I thought it was spectacular.
Yeah.
The scenery,
Yeah.
it looked so cool. I would have
The-
been,
yeah.
and one thing I was thinking too is with Sharik, I'm like, and if you just had quit, you would have missed this,
That.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, it was so cool.
And kudos to the filming, because I mean they got it right. Like they filmed that so well. So good job, Amazing Race.
I
That was
think I
good.
was listening a little bit to Justin from the Green Team's pod, and he was was it him? Okay, actually, maybe I won't quote it. It was him. Somebody listened to somebody's podcast, and they said that they were underwhelmed because they thought that there would have been more horses and more camels. And I was like, I thought it was great. Like, what, you want more? Who? Why? I thought it
Wow.
was pretty good.
Yeah,
I don't think
no.
it was him though. I think it was somebody else. But anyways. I just love seeing people on horses and camels. It looked like a movie, and just swooping in and with the swords. And they were given the clues, and the guy was so cute. He's like, "Welcome to Georgia," and he's like, "Good luck. Have a nice time. Have a
They
nice
just
time.
go.
Good luck. Welcome to Jordan." It was so cute, and like, it was epic.
Oh, it's great. And then the way that they left too is funny because like they walk and then the teens have to go the other way. It's like, well, where did they go? Like, are they going to another train? Where
So they are in the Wadi Rum Desert in Jordan. And so group 1 is leaving at 8 a.m. So this just consists of the twins and Michael and Marcus. So they have to choose a vehicle and drive to get their next clue. So it seems like they're going to have their own driver. So it's kind of like a taxi, but they're marked drivers, we'll say. Marcus and Michael, we learned that they have an acronym that they live by. I guess, is this for their life or just the race?
I think they said going into the race they were gonna go by this acronym.
So I found it funny that they said complacent, and like they said, like, don't want to be complacent. So the acronym is CAR, or CAR, and so complacent is the first one. And I'm like, he's like, you don't want to be complacent. I'm like, okay, but like, wouldn't you want to just put it as a positive word to begin with, right?
So shouldn't that then be a D? That's for don't be complacent,
right? Because like you don't want to enforce complacency, but that's just my thoughts. And then adversity, and I guess like to overcome, to always keep on wanting to excel and succeed. And then resilience. I think resilience is a good one, because being resilient in this race, sometimes if you're at the back of the pack and knowing that you're at the back of the pack, having that resiliency to be like, no, we're still going to do this. We're still going to overcome, and like stay in it and still try your hardest. Like, I think it's a very, very important quality to have in this race, especially if you ever experience being in the back of the pack. So
for sure.
Decent acronym. Decent. So they also talk about how they review every leg. And I thought that this was also great. They said from their military background that to kind of take a look at all the tasks and look at what you did well, what you didn't do well, how you can improve, is going to be how they succeed in this race. So what do you think of that as a strategy, as a team?
I do think that that's good. I mean, to really go, you want to analyze the last legs that you've been doing to make sure like you can see if there was any hiccups or that. You've got to be careful that you don't get into that rut though, where you're over analyzing everything and you think you have to act a certain way, and then you're not being spontaneous when you open up a clue, and it's not like you're too busy thinking about what you did in the past and how that will affect this task. And you're like, some of those tasks, just go into the task and do the task the way you knew how to do it before you started racing. You can get caught up into that. So it's just going to be how easy are you able to learn from your mistakes but not hold on to them, I guess.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that they're probably thinking more so like, okay, how we choose each detour, or how we choose who's doing what. Like, maybe we need to consider different things, or I think that that's maybe hopefully what they're thinking of, because I agree with you. It's very possible to get caught up into the details and then allowing those details to kind of overcome you, and
Yeah.
it could actually hinder your
Well,
racing.
because we have already, I don't remember who. I actually kind of think it might have been Derek saying about Claire that in one of these, like, oh, I'm doing the roadblock. I'm not going to go through that again with the roadblock. It's like that. Listen, you got to do roadblocks. Both of you are going to have to do roadblocks. Let go of the old roadblocks and learn from it. Like, yeah, you can't get all tensed up and think that one of you is stronger than the other always. That's not the case. You're not going
So
to win that.
I got really worried though. So it's a bit of a foot race to the clue box. And we hear Emily get a sharp pain in her thigh while she's running in the sand. And I'm like, is this going to come back to haunt us later on in this season?
Yeah,
I'm terrified.
leg pain in a desert. Ooh, that's not good. In the sand. Ooh,
I mean, hopefully she'll be able to be okay. But the fact that we're hearing about it, it worries me. It
right,
worries me
right.
because like it might come up again. Anyways, I'll hope for the best for them because they're definitely my top team. I want to see their entire journey from beginning to the end. And so if they're medically DQ'd,
Yeah.
I would be so irritated,
I mean,
so
how
frustrated.
amazing. Sorry, about them. Like in past races, we've had once or twice, we've had people who have just met each other like that were related, like, and they've raced. Or they've had strained relationships and they got back together and they're always out early. We never get them to stay long, it seems. Like, how great would it be if they went all the way? Like,
I
that would be.
feel at this point, I mean, I'm worried about the leg thing, obviously, but I feel like their story needs to get to the final three
Yeah.
because just we're hearing them talk about, oh, I want to stay in this race so I can just keep on learning more about each other, and like I just like I want to see the world with you, and like I need to see that full story,
Yeah. I
and they
agree.
need to run the whole race together so they can learn about each other. Okay.
Love it.
So, who wants to test their metal? Me or you?
Um,
Oh, I feel like we need to get you out of the sun. Me.
love it. I mean, I guess if we weren't there first, you would see people doing it. So you would, because you could see them that close. So yeah, I mean, if we could see who was doing it, I don't think it's a task that either of us would necessarily need to
it, it,
worry about.
it
Yeah,
seems like
yeah.
just do it.
If we were there first, metal. I mean, if it had something to do with, I don't know, chemistry or something, I don't know, but who knows? Like, I think we'd be fine either way in this one.
All right. Or how are you
But
with sun, though?
I do like that you're gonna let me stay out of the sun. I do appreciate.
Well, I don't want you to get like heat stroke or burned or anything like that. So go sit by the car in the shade, please.
Okay, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So there's a spaceship debris from movie sets, and they're going to be using a metal detector to go around and find a piece of sheet metal that has the word Petra on it. Um, I mean, pretty simple of a task. It had a pretty wide footprint where they could be searching. Obviously, people getting there first, there's going to be more. It's going to be more easy to find a piece of
Right.
metal, as opposed to being there at the end where it's a large surface and all the sheet metals are gone. Marcus had a really good system when he was doing it, so he was kind of like using his feet to make a little path to where he has been,
Good.
so he doesn't, go back over where he's already searched. Do you have a strategy that you would have done?
I probably just would have, forked out a certain area and just sort of done the area like as properly done. Like, I wouldn't randomly go all over the place. Or I wouldn't do the
Who would
perimeter.
do that?
Like, you need to go like up and down across, because yeah, they're not going to put them all on the outside and they're not going to put them all on the inside. So
Absolutely. I mean, I think I would probably drag the shovel maybe to like if I can. I'm not sure if I would be able to maneuver it, but like just so I would keep a track of like
yeah,
like where I've walked potentially. But you're right though. If he's just say like, oh, I'm doing this quadrant, like just going back and forth, up and down would probably sufficient.
I think
And
it's like mowing the grass, right? Like, I think that's the way to look at doing it the smart
yeah,
way.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah, let's mow that lawn,
Mow that mow that desert.
mow that desert. So Petra though is one of the new seven wonders of the world.
That's
Um
amazing.
Spectacular.
Yeah,
Like
amazing.
it was just old cities really are so awe-inspiring to me. I think I talked to you about this before, but when I was in Rome, like I took the city bus from the airport, and being on the city bus and just riding by the Colosseum, I was just
Right.
blown away that this is like a form that was around so many years ago. It's just, I think it's just mind blowing. So I would love to visit a city like Petra that's even older. I'm imagining,
Yeah.
just to see like it's just the spectacularness of these old ancient cities. It's
Of like
so
how old it
cool.
is, and the fact that like you go, and people live here like now. Like I
Right.
mean, that's amazing. So
So
yeah,
wild. It's so wild. So group two is leaving. So that consists of Maddie and Quentin, Will and Abby, Luis and Michelle. And so we don't really talk that much about Maddie and Quentin. I'm wondering what's going to go on with them because like they kind of started off strong and then they had that like bad leg and then they've kind of been mid to upper pack.
yeah.
But like, did they even get a confessional this episode?
I don't remember much about them this episode except
Yeah.
for like he was struggling a little bit to find the roadblock, right? I think that was, but they were pretty impressive. I think towards the end of the leg, but we
Mm-hmm.
didn't really see like they just sort
Anything.
of did it. Yeah. Um, yeah. I don't know how I feel about that team. I don't dislike them, but I also was like I thought it was hilarious the one leg when they were in was it in Germany and they had to go to Austria or
And they're like on the
or
right street,
Switzerland. They
wrong
were, yeah,
country.
yeah, they were in Switzerland and they had to go to Austria and they
No,
just
that's
went down
fiction.
the street.
Germany. Germany. It was Germany.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Uh,
Yes. Yeah.
I believe so. Anyways, it
Yeah.
definitely wasn't Switzerland because
No.
the
No. It was
um.
Germany to Austria. That's right. Munich to whatever, and they stayed in Germany. And it's like, whew, that's a mistake.
I mean, at least they didn't go to a different country.
Yeah.
But so Luis is done with being in the middle of the pack. They are front of the pack team Coquetas. And so they have been envisioning getting on the mat. And you know, I love a good manifestation story. You know, I
Yeah.
love envisioning. So I loved hearing that they were putting in their mind's eye their intention for this leg of the race. And I just loved hearing that from them. So that's
Yeah.
probably also why I'm starting to like them more as well, because I'm seeing them use the powers of the law of attraction to like help propel them in this race.
Yeah, you knew it was one of three. It was either they were coming in first,
Or they're going home.
they were going to lose, or they're never coming in first, and that's all. That's going to be an ongoing story of we're going to be coming first. So.
Exactly. So I wrote, yes, Molly gets it when the group two shows up. So you can tell that I'm like so excited for
Yes.
any successes that the twins have. And so they're able to leave. I couldn't tell the time difference between them and Marcus and Michael, but it seems like they were able to catch up to them super quickly.
Not only them, but it did seem like other teams really caught up to them pretty fast. Like I believe there was like two teams that like were there when they were at the clue box at the next thing. So I was like,
Well, yeah,
what's
like
going on?
it was so wild. So before they all kind of bunch up at the next clue box. So we see Quentin, he gets it before Luis, and Luis is like, you know, kind of looking really quickly, and Michelle is finding her husband really hot and sexy the way that he uses the shovel and the metal detector. Yeah, they're cute. I'm into them. Then we see group three leaving at 8:30. So that's Linton and Sharif, Lumumba and Glenda, Claire and Derek, and Aubrey and David. And Linton, Lumumba, David, and Derek are all going to be doing this roadblock. I always get confused.
Yeah,
Roadblock.
it's a roadblock. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, roadblock is something that only one of your teammates can do. So Derek, when he gets to this roadblock, he's just sprinting, running back and forth. He's like, you know, I want to have the most chance of finding one before everybody else kind of gets theirs. He doesn't want to be finding 1 out of 4. or one out of all, like the whole space. He wants
Yeah.
to try to find one of four out of that whole big space. So I thought that was a really great thought to have, just like get out there and get at it quickly. And we see in the confessionals that Tim and Claire want to use their brains and outsmart teams, or do the smarter thing, or find the trick in every challenge. And so that was one of the markers where I was like, they're a good racing team. I know that you're not that fond of them, but that is very smart. And I don't know if you've watched any of their YouTube videos, but they're just so happy in them. I feel like they do well.
Okay.
Like, it's kind of like they're very excitable. They're not coming off to me as somebody that goes home in the next couple episodes.
No, I would be surprised if they go home early. Like, I mean, I see them in at least top 5. Like, I see them there. So,
well, because like, you know how like your favorite team, was it Holderbrooks,
the Holderness,
yes.
yes,
How they were doing their recaps, and I was like, this has winter energy on it, how they're recapping this.
right.
That's how I'm feeling with Claire and Derek right now.
Oh no. Don't do this to me.
I mean,
I will be so depressed. I will be so depressed if we have a live podcast after and I'm not supposed to be like, good work, Claire and Derek.
What if they do a good job?
No.
Oh wow. Okay. Well,
they let me down on Big Brother. They were too boring.
I find them, well, they also don't really show that much of Derek, because even on the Challenge USA, a lot of people like afterwards were like, Derek is so funny. I love being around Derek. And so they don't necessarily show all of his funny stuff. So we can blame the editors and the producers a little bit on maybe their edit.
All right.
Hi, Diana. So Holdernesses were my favorite last year. One of the only social media people I knew. I didn't know them social media wise, but I didn't mind them. I drafted them on my team, and Phil grew to not dislike them.
Right.
I don't know if he ended up liking them.
That Christmas video still haunts my brain. But
I forgot about that. I getcha. So David and Linton are doing kind of the outskirts with the metal detector, rather than like the middle area. And I couldn't really tell where was the search area when they were going. It seemed more obvious when the other teams were going, but like, I don't like, we saw Aubrey and we saw Sharik kind of complaining about where they were searching, but I couldn't tell how it was different from where everybody else was searching. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I didn't understand, like, they weren't really paying attention to the other teams. Like when somebody would find something, like it didn't seem like they got what they were looking for.
Right.
And they also, like I feel like we're running close to a territory of reading the clue possibly, like properly. And maybe they were searching in areas that they didn't really need to go. Like it did seem like it was sort of around the set, not up on the rocks. I don't know. It felt like it was around the set. So
it was quite confusing. I mean, we saw Derek, he left pretty quickly. Sharik Linton and David were doing the outskirts. Lumumba was finding every pop can. Like, it was just so strange that it seemed a lot easier for the other teams to know the area to be searching.
Yeah.
What I wish they did, I don't know if they would have been able to, was show us where they were hidden when they had their metal detectors out, so
like
we could
how
see
close they got. Yeah.
Exactly. Like I want to see like where I don't know where it is right now. So it's just like people just going like this, like who cares? So I would have loved to see like, okay, that's where that one is. That's where that one is. And just show it like a little X or something. Or like a little mini sheet metal that says Petra on it. So I can just, because I couldn't tell if people were close and they were, it just.
It's like probably would have added a little bit more element of, are they going to get it? Are they going to?
Yeah, and then they turn around, they go the other way, and you're like, they were right there.
What did you think about the teams talking about, like Sharik was like getting all upset about her dad, and like
I was
about where they were.
I was annoyed with that.
Like what positive does that do complaining to another team about your partner?
I
I, it's
think
weird.
I'm trying. I'm actually thinking about this on the spot. I don't know if I truly believe this, but I'm wondering if there's a little bit of a guilt factor for the previous leg, and she does say at that point, like, I should have done this one. She
Right.
should have just done this one, but I think it's making her feel better just kind of complaining about her dad not doing as well as she would have done, because she can't prove whether or not she would have been able to do it well or not, or better or
Right.
not. And so I think it's to make it seem like she wasn't the weaker link of the team, if that makes sense.
Which is, yeah, yeah.
It's just
It's
it's not how I operate,
no,
but
no.
um I think, yeah, I think there's a little bit of guilt, a little bit of like feeling bad that she's not a better partner, feeling bad that she didn't want to step up, but then also not wanting to take any accountability for that.
Yeah. I don't
Something like
know.
that.
Yeah. I just feel bad for him because I mean, you could tell he wanted to be there and he wanted to do well, and he was proud to have his daughter with him and doing it. And I don't know, I felt like, you already quit and then you said you're going to do it for him, and then you're going to complain about his efforts, like.
Right? And he's like the oldest person on the team, the cast.
And it's a needle in the haystack challenge, like, I mean, I don't know.
Like, I bet you if she was doing this one, she'd be complaining the entire time.
Yeah, she'd be hot.
So I'm just I was really frustrated for him. I mean, he couldn't hear this, obviously, but I was
No,
just like,
but
can you maybe just give a little bit of like, you're doing great, Dad, like, awesome, I believe in you, you got this. Like, I would have loved to
yeah,
hear a few of those rather than commiserating with Aubrey, being like, why are they on the outskirts? Like, why are they
yeah.
doing it? Like, why are they so bad at this? And it's like, uh I mean, maybe I would act this way. Maybe I would if I was frustrated with like not being able to help. Maybe. But I
Yeah,
guess with her showing last episode, I can't it bothers me.
yeah.
Like it bothered you.
And I also have to say, I never really got the vibe that, compared to, like, I know they were in the back and that makes you amped up and everything, but I didn't really feel like he was like hours doing
No.
this task longer than somebody else did it. Like,
No.
I think he did it around probably the same as an average person, maybe a little bit longer, but yeah.
And it sucks though that we couldn't see what ground he had covered compared to where the actual
Right,
thing was. Like I wanted to see, like, with her being like, would she have been right with her strategy, or was he right with his strategy? Because
right,
he does eventually find it. He's last, but he does eventually find it. So I'm just curious as to, was it wherever she was saying for him to be looking, or was he on the
right.
right track with where he was going? So that wasn't really clearly explained, which I wish it were. I guess I'll have to go and look at some exit press and see if they have if they've clarified
Yeah,
that
if
at
there's
all.
been an interview.
So I wrote down Petra looks unreal, which it does.
Kind
It's
of.
unreal. And then I wrote, how did Derek and Claire catch up? So they were in the third group and they were able to get to the Petra blue box first.
Yeah. But like, were they driving at that point?
Well, they had a driver.
They had a driver, so sweet
Like
talking the
they
driver to go faster, and maybe the other people didn't sweet
well,
talk their
Marcus
driver. Or?
and Michael must have had like the slowest driver. Maybe they got
Yeah,
lost. Maybe, yeah, maybe they got lost or went the wrong direction or something like that. You would think though that people hired to drive to Petra would know how to drive to Petra, so that's strange. But
yeah,
the fact that Claire and Derek were in the third group were able to like overtake the first group teams, like they made up a lot of time, which was,
yeah.
I thought, was impressive.
And
And
they and
you know,
over like teams that have been also really good with directions. So
absolutely.
yeah, it was a little weird.
Absolutely. So the detour is Camel Caravan or Palace Puzzle. What would
Well,
we
I would
do?
have. I mean, personally, I would have preferred to do the puzzle, but
Obviously.
but well, I actually didn't really feel like either of them were overly hard.
I don't think I would personally want to do
Yeah,
more manual labor out in the sun, because like I would have just have done the metal detector. Who knows how long I'm out there? Like, like I'd probably be like, let's just do a puzzle, like a slide puzzle we can finish in 5 seconds.
Yeah,
Like
and then
it
actually
was a small slide puzzle. It wasn't even
seeing the
hard.
slide puzzle, it was small. It was like a 3D one, so that also like helps you visually see where things are going. And the thing was on the answer was like right in front of you. Like it was a much easier task than what the other
Like
one turned out to
I
be.
didn't see the starting position, but I feel like it was like a 10 move slide puzzle.
Yeah.
Like it just looked like well, maybe more than 10, but like 30. But like it just seemed very, very easy to solve. And I'm good at slide puzzles, so anyways, we would have done puzzle.
Yeah.
We would not be going and grabbing like three vases to fill with water that were quite small to bring to fill up this big urn, and bring these 4 bales of hay for the camels to eat. Like, this just seems too much work in the heat. Hot. It's too hot. It's too hot. I mean, I know I would have done the metal detector one, but like the sun makes me hot, super sweaty. So what did I say? Oh, I said, oh boy, David and Lumumba found this before Linton. I felt bad, like Linton being there by himself, and then having Sharik's not so positive vibes just sending his way. Boo. The twins, though, somehow got lost trying to find either Puzzle Palace or the camel caravan. And I'm like, don't get lost when you can't walk with your leg. Like, no, you got to rest.
You need all the time.
Yes, you got to recuperate. Don't get lost. But so far, everybody that got to the detour chose Puzzle Palace except for Michael and Marcus. So I was like, ooh, we're going to see, like, because they're going to probably do that task the best, right? Out of everybody that was there. They're the youngest, I would say the strongest physically. It's male team. Like, they are going to do that task the best.
And they're in the right mindset. They like right now, they at least from what we're seeing, they are in the right mindset to do well at this challenge.
So the fact that it seemed like it was the wrong choice of a task, I was like, I hope nobody else does this one, because it seems like it takes forever comparatively to the maximum 5-minute slide puzzle.
Oh yeah.
Like 5 minutes would be long, it seems like, for that puzzle. So Marcus and Mike, so Luis and Michelle are over at the puzzles pretty quick. Like, it's them, and it's Claire and Derek. And Claire was trying to make some sort of engineering, like, solving slide puzzle analogy. I didn't get it. But I did hear that Luis and Michelle, they were practicing slide puzzles. They had them on their phone, and so like they were good at slide puzzles. And so they do manage to get their check first, and I was very impressed by them. And then pretty much right after, we saw Claire and Derek get it. I also appreciated that Derek recognized that the map of it was the actual structure right in front of them, so that saved them probably a lot of time, because it's a lot easier when you know exactly what you're trying to solve. Like, I can do slide puzzles super fast if I have the numbers. Like, I'm just like, I don't fucking care about the picture. Let me know those numbers. Like, I can do it really quickly. But picture obviously is second best. Yeah.
Well, and we saw it with one of the teams. They didn't get the picture in front of them, so then they built it.
Your favorite.
Yeah, they built it on the bottom, which, to be honest, if you actually looked at it, it didn't look wrong, because the top 4 pieces were generic pieces. So they could have gone there. But if you had looked forward, you'd know that they were on top. So yeah, definitely seeing the puzzle is a lot more easy.
It definitely, though, it would be harder, though. Like, they basically would have to just start from the beginning with them having it on the bottom, being like, oh yeah. I mean, it wouldn't take that many moves.
Oh, we just need to slide it up there.
I was like, not quite.
I'd like to watch that.
Not so fast at all. So Luis and Michelle are running to the pit stop, and then Derek and Claire are running right after them. But Luis and Michelle use their power of manifestation and visualization. They got their first place on the mat, and they also lock in $5,000 for this leg.
Well done.
Well done. They moved up there into being an entertaining and very likable couple. So I'm team croquetas right now.
All right.
Claire and Claire falls on the way to the mat. Poor thing. I didn't see it, but apparently she was bleeding.
Yeah, there was blood. There was blood, and her pant had ripped.
Ugh.
Her knee on her knee. So
Yeah, she's a little bit awkward. I think she said when she was on Big Brother that she's quite clumsy, and it seems to be true.
Yeah.
But they got their second, and I'm happy with them coming back from the bottom. Like they were at the bottom of the pack last week, and so they were able to rectify their situation and get back on top. So yes, the pit stop was the Great Temple, and we finally see Marcus and Michael finish the the camel caravan detour. They get to the mat in third place, and they are not happy about it. They hit the podium, be top 3 every time. Like staying in first place all the time, then you will most likely not win the race.
No, it's not realistic. And I think it's better. I mean, it would be great to win every leg, but I think it's better to learn how you deal with when it gets out of your hands and you're not doing well. And they made a poor choice, but they still managed to come in third.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty good. So
totally agree. We see Lumumba. They want to do the camel caravan. And when they get there, like, oh, this looks too hard. Let's do the puzzle. No thanks. Let's do the puzzle. So they go and do the puzzle. Everybody did the puzzle. Abby and Will was really good. I was impressed that Abby was like, oh, it's pretty easy once you know the algorithm. I was like, okay, good, Abby. I like that we don't see that much of her. And so the fact that she's very good at puzzles and she understands like how to solve a slide puzzle, like that's always impressive to me. So it made me
that's
like
one team we haven't talked about at all. I keep forgetting that they're there. But they seem nice, but I don't really feel like I'm getting to know them very well.
Yeah, I mean, they're kind of at the top of the pack, which is good. So hopefully we're going to learn more about them. They seem sweet. She seems to really want to be on this race. They do a decent job. Yeah. That's all I got. That's it.
Yeah.
So fourth place, or that team, Abby and Will, managed to finish their slide puzzle pretty quickly, it seems. Fifth place is Matt, Molly, and Emily. So even after they got a little bit lost and she hurt her leg, they were able to finish the slide puzzle pretty quickly, and they got fifth place. So they are happy with fifth. They're fine with it. Sixth place is Quinton and Maddie. Seventh place is Glenda and Lumumba. And they're just so lovely with how happy they are just to be in the race. And so I want them back at the top of the pack, but I want them in this race.
They moved up a little bit, and they're good.
They just need to like move into like the middle group so then they can have a better shot of getting into the front pack again. And then I don't know why Phil was trying to fake this out again, because they faked them out the first leg. Remember when they're like, oh, like, and then the team came around the corner and then Aubrey saw them. They're like, oh my God, we're not last. But like, they knew that they were fine.
I think so. Yeah.
Because why on earth did Linton and Sharif do the camel caravan? Why? And Sharik was the one that suggested it. Let's do camel caravan.
Maybe this was her way of
self-sabotage, getting out of it.
Maybe. Like, maybe. I don't know. Maybe they thought they could do it better, but like, I don't know.
If they hadn't,
it's a weird choice.
They may have been able to stay in this race, right? I don't know how. Maybe they say that they're terrible at puzzles, and so if there's a puzzle, let's not do it. Maybe that's an agreement that they made. But knowing that they're at the back of the pack to do the physically labor-intensive task while the other team is doing the puzzle. Like, I would just be like, let's go do the puzzle so we can keep them in our sights. You know what I mean?
Walking to the clue box for the detour and going, I'm hot. Because she said she was hot at that point and was walking because he wanted to move faster. Like,
And then
and
go do the
then
physical
and then you
labor
pick the
task.
physical one. Like, no, like I kind of feel like, yeah, that was it.
Oh,
That was
I agree, Jelly Donuts. I don't think side puzzles are hard at all. Like it's actually just a process of elimination. Not a process of elimination, but it's just like you just do one square at a time.
yeah,
Like that's basically what you do.
and
It's
that's
not.
when you don't know what it is, right? Like, I mean, like,
Yeah. Yeah. Like
yeah,
I mean, I don't find them hard at all. It's only hard sometimes if you have a big one and the bottom row, if you have like two numbers out of order on the bottom row, sometimes that gets tricky,
mm,
but
but
it's still manageable.
yeah,
Like, yeah, it's but so what happens though, people usually don't really realize how you need to do it just like systematically. And so they start like pushing things around and they just they just get it out of order and you just really just have to do it systematically.
yeah, yeah.
So I agree, Jelly, though. It's not so hard. Not so hard. This was an average episode. I feel like they underused Petra. It's not every day the race goes here. Yes, it's true. But they're probably gonna be here a bit next episode. I wouldn't be surprised. So
Are they here for the next episode? I hope so, but
I'm
they
not
might go
sure.
somewhere else in Jordan. Maybe, I don't
Right.
know.
So I think that they might still use
Yeah,
this landscape. Um,
but it was beautiful.
I hope
Yeah,
they do some more like archaeological things where they had to like go into these ruins and like find things. I mean,
yeah,
not obviously not tamper with anything, but like I don't know, something cool where you have to like see all the amazing artifacts. Jelly Donut says, I thought Shriek said she was good at puzzles at some point. Oh, well, then she should have done a puzzle, but maybe she didn't want to have the pressure of the puzzle being on her. And so if they failed, like, she could feel better about it.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. So frustrating.
Yeah. Oof.
Just don't do what Team TMZ did. I don't remember who that is.
Oh, right. Maybe help me. What season was that? Maybe two. I don't remember. It was like
Who's
20.
TMZ?
It was two ladies from Team that were TMZ reporters, and they got stuck on a slide puzzle, and they messed it up. And yeah, that was like in Brazil or something. They were like doing it, and they messed up on the beach putting it together.
Was the
That was
other
like
task
season
that was
22, 23, somewhere around that.
was the other task like volleyball? I don't know. Am I making that up? I kind of remember Team
Oh,
TMZ.
yeah,
It's starting to come back to me a little bit.
yeah. They were like middle-aged ladies, I thought.
Like probably 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of remember them, but I don't remember that situation. Shriek said they started with the puzzle. Really? Hi, Cheryl.
Oh.
Oh, oh. Mm.
Well, if they started with the puzzle, did they mention if they saw the other team? I wonder, because they might have been all over at that point, anyways. We don't know.
Right. Yeah. Actually, maybe they started with it and they didn't feel like they could finish it. And so they decided to go and do Camel Caravan. They should have stuck with
Who
it.
knows?
So easy. So it's we've learned that 8th place is Aubrey and David. And Sharik and Linton did come in last place. They did complete that task, which is great. But they have been eliminated from the race.
Yeah. After the last episode, I was like, I'm happy with all the teams staying except for that team. That team needs to go. So
absolutely.
So happy that they're gone, and now we'll see how it goes. I don't know.
I don't know what 105 degrees means, but it sounds hot. It's probably like 40, 42, 43.
Oh, yeah. Maybe
but that's hot.
Yeah.
These teacher names do not flow. You don't like Camel Caravan and Palace Puzzle? A little alliteration?
Well, usually they rhyme.
That's true.
Yeah, they didn't really put a lot of effort into it this week.
So they did alliteration rather than rhyme.
Yeah.
Rhyming scheme this time. All poetic devices.
I guess.
Well, that is pretty much it for the episode. Was there anything else that you want to talk about with this season, this episode? Or, maybe we should talk a little bit about the preview for the next episode where it looks as though one team...
No, don't say it.
Yeah.
They have COVID.
There's a team that has COVID.
I didn't give it to them.
I'm still COVID free. Um, and so Phil, yes, he makes a Zoom or FaceTime call to some team saying that like unfortunately you tested positive. So it doesn't look like it's Marcus and Michael because I feel like we saw them in doing something on the race.
Yeah.
But who do you have any idea who you think it might be?
I mean, it really could be anybody, and we don't even know. Does that mean that they're out?
I really
Like, we
hope it
don't
doesn't. I
know.
hope it's a big red herring that we're just scared, but they're able to come like later in the leg or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I hope that they're yeah, I hope they're not eliminated, whoever it is. But I do. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
Fuck. I don't like this season has just been so fun and like I'm
Yeah.
loving most of the teams and I mean there's a few COVID things that like I don't love. I don't love bunching people and leaving at 8:15, 8:30. Like I don't love that. I don't love the chartered plane, Big Phil. I
Yeah.
like them going to the airport, but I get it. We're just trying to make this race
It's
happen.
the way the world is. Yeah.
But like I just experienced watching the Amazing Race Australia and the Amazing Race Canada, both that were severely affected by COVID.
Yeah.
And I feel like for me, it ruined the season for me, just for the momentum and for the team. Like, it just, I still enjoyed
Yeah.
them, but it just
The,
wasn't the same.
the Australia one was weird because even the host got it at
Like,
one
what?
point. And there were some teams that were like gone for
Really, 7 legs.
because it was on like 3 days a week and there's so many episodes and everything, and then you're like they're gone for 7 and all these teams went, and at one point it was like there was only 5 teams that were able to race because 5 other teams were in COVID, and one of the teams that went was like
My
the
favorite
girl
team,
team
Flick and Gabby,
that were like dominating most of the race, and
the
it was like
Brista
they
Sisters.
they never would have gone had these teams been there. So I don't know. I feel like it sucks for them. I just
I agree. I agree. I
but
really hope that
it's the world we're
I
in. I
know.
don't know how do you avoid it. Like nobody knows how to. It's not happening.
Yeah. Hi, Taj. So Taj was ready for Shriek to go. I feel like she had no hustle this leg. Yeah,
No.
no, she
Yeah.
never had any hustle. No hustle, but a lot of complaints. Also, the Amazing Race 35 is in South America. Okay,
Ooh, good.
cool.
It's been a while. That's nice.
Also, the Amazing Race fan, it's frustrating watching Shriek race. Reminded me of Flo from season 3. You were talking about Flo already.
I was talking about Flo, but for somebody else that I'm hopeful will turn into Flo. I love Flo. When I rewatch season 3, because I do watch the early ones from time to time, I feel like Flo, as much as she complained she wanted to win, I don't really feel like Sharik wanted to win. Like I feel like Sharik was done. Um, but Flo's game was very weird. Like I mean, she was flirting with another person while she was basically with the person that she was, who in some ways they had some sort of relationship, and it was
I'm
she
almost
complained.
remembering all this. Oh my
she
goodness.
oh, she wanted to quit 2 or 3 times. 2 of the times she threw her helmet. I went on my honeymoon specifically to the place to go see in Montreux, where she threw her helmet and took a photo of that place because it's one of my favorite scenes. But yeah, I can see why most people get irritated by Flo, but
I mean,
I
I probably
like
would
that drama.
mind her. I probably would like her more now. I think at the time I was like appalled, but I think I'd
Yes,
have more appreciation for her now, for
yes.
sure. Okay, Jelly Jonas says we see every team racing except for one. Which one,
Oh,
Jelly?
jeez.
Just tell me. It's fine. Just tell me. Just tell me. The rules are that if they get COVID, they go home. Okay.
Wow.
We have to let one team go home, or one team let go of one team. I hope it's either the dancers or Will and Abby. I'm in agreement with you, Taj. So the dancers is your team, Aubrey and
Yeah,
David.
I'd be okay with them going because they haven't really been performing. Like I do want, I do want a team that does well to win. I always prefer the teams that do well on the race. Will and Abby, as I've said, I haven't really got much out of them from this as well. Um, yeah, I'd be okay, but I prefer being able to look at David on my TV.
Ooh. Well, I mean, this is a spoiler alert, everyone, because Jelly Jonah did put who
Oh,
she believes got COVID. So let me just go through the rest. Unfortunately, we do not get Jailer on the Amazing Race 35. No, they do not appear. Lilo and Turbo as a team would be gold. That would never happen. But oh, brutal. I mean, I mean,
woo! Score one for the bad guys.
so I mean, I guess that's why we didn't see that much of them, because there's no need to really build their story because they're going to be
No.
taken out in such a terrible way. If that's true, that's really frustrating for them, because we know that Abby is such a big fan of the show and the game. So I really just, it sucks that people are taken out for that reason, but not my favorite team.
No.
So I'm okay with that.
Were you surprised that this season they didn't bring back at least one of the season 30? Remember what season 33 where the COVID happened and they had to get rid of like my teams
like
couldn't come
Ryan
back.
and not Ryan Dusty, but the other strong
Yeah.
male team.
Yeah. Like I was
Yeah,
kind of
I didn't. I
surprised
was.
that we didn't get one at least come back and be like, because there were some strong ones.
I feel like they weren't able to. I feel like maybe it was a thought, but that they weren't able to
Make it work.
like make work commitments and stuff like that, because there was somebody that got a new job and that's why they weren't even able to come back on their season, and so
Right.
I think the timing just wasn't good for a lot of them. Maybe
eventually, if we keep going with COVID, we'll have
you have
a cast
of
COVID
affected teams.
cast.
Yes, the COVID teams get to actually race the race. I mean, that'd be great. I'd love that if I was a COVID team.
If you include Canada and
Oh yeah, we got
Australia,
it.
we've already got all.
We got an Australian size like season. Well, this was a great time, Phil. Thank you for stepping in and filling in for Jonathan. I'm so happy to get to talk about this episode with you. What do you have going on? Anything with Adam and Phil Good Time Games?
We've been hosting a couple games, but nothing too crazy going on over at Good Time Games with Adam and Phil. Feel free to follow us on Facebook. But yeah, no, nothing too crazy going on. You know, I'm on a cruise next week, so I'm excited about that.
Fun. Get your cruise on.
Caro and Ray, was that?
Yeah.
Was that the Love Island?
Yes.
I don't think that they speak to each other anymore.
No. I mean, they were on X on the Beach, and that was a mess. Like she like took herself out of like X on the Beach, and like it wasn't great. Drama.
Wow.
It was drama.
Are you sorry? I know it's not Amazing Race, but I haven't watched The Love Boat. Is it worth watching? The cruise director Matt Mitchum. I've been on 2 cruises with him.
Wow.
One was a good experience. One, his girlfriend at the time was on the boat visiting, and so he wasn't as chipper as.
Oh, I need to hear more about this story. That's some tea. I'm giving it a chance.
Okay.
It has potential. I think they need to lean into the kitschiness of it and like the hokey, like Jerry O'Connell and Rebecca, like just being this like kitschy, quirky couple. Lean into that, and then lead into the stupidity and like the overtly sexual like nature of like, you know what I mean? Like it just, they need to push the envelope in that direction. It can't be an ounce of seriousness, or it's not going to work. So it's okay. It has potential, but I don't know if they'll lean into what I think they need to lean into. Oh, yes, Jelly Donuts. So, yes, well, what I'm doing right now, in about half an hour, I will be going live with Sarah from Nerdtainment to talk to Taylor, winner of Big Brother Season 24. We're going to talk about her birth chart, her natal chart, her astrology, and see how the stars aligned for her to be able to win this most recent season. So please tune in and hang out with us as we just talk to Taylor all about the stars. And we will also go through the tarot cards that we pulled for her season, and she could maybe go deeper into how she feels that these cards really related to her experience as well. So something new that we are trying with Taylor being really excited to talk to us about astrology. And so, yeah, let's see how it goes. So if you guys are interested, we will be going live in about half an hour.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! Well, that's it from me. We'll see you guys later on when you guys watch us with Taylor. Also be talking later on about Bachelor in Paradise. Tomorrow, as usual, doing the challenge season 38. Friday, I think we're going to be doing the Love Boat and more of the challenge 38, doing some power rankings. And then, back to next week. So we'll see you guys later. Make sure you subscribe.
Oh,
and
yeah.
tell us who, like, are you okay with Will? If it's Will and Abby, if that's the team that goes, is that okay? Or is there another team that you not want to get COVID, but prefer to be leaving the race? We don't want to be like wishing.
Who do you want to infect?
No. And right now, who are your favorite teams? Let's hear your top 3 teams. And as usual, like this video because likes really help the YouTube algorithm. Mm-hmm. All right, that's it. It's a mouthful. Bye.